honestly just sick of the increases because I have no source of income.
Students are frustrated to hear the VCU Board of Visitors are looking to possibly raise tuition again, but you can still weigh in on the decision. We'll tell you how. Volunteers needed. Right now, groups are surveying how much litter is polluting our waterways. This is a part of the big push for Clean the Bay Day, which will happen in May. What you need to know is coming up. Braden stop a Richmond tradition on Easter. People and pets dressed in festive bonnets and attire for the 53rd annual Easter on Parade. We're talking to people who didn't want to miss this historic moment. A group of Tibetan monks are making a stop in Richmond. Events included making a sacred sand mandala and a peace walk. We'll tell you more about their message. VCU InSight starts now. Hello, and welcome to the last newscast of the spring semester for VCU InSight. I'm Sophia Shokrai. Yet again, VCU officials are looking at another increase in tuition for students. The university's governing body met in late March to discuss how rising costs are influencing this change. VCU InSight reporter Dakota Griffin is talking with students on how they're feeling about an increase in tuition. Dakota?
Yeah, for a lot of the students I spoke with, a tuition increase is the last thing that they want to hear. They say between rent and gas prices and other everyday expenses already on the rise, a tuition increase is just going to add another financial burden to their wallets. This discussion comes after VCU's growth over several years. VCU data shows that applications are up nearly 30% and more students are staying enrolled and then graduating. But that growth also comes with a cost. University leaders are considering a tuition increase from anywhere from 0 to just under 5%, with mandatory fees potentially rising up to $196. They say some of these increases are out of their control, with state salaries, military waivers, and rising costs in security and academic resources. They also say the investment would go towards expanding programs, supporting internships, and adding more resources to help students with finances or graduation. But students are saying that this actually makes it harder for them.
I'm honestly just sick of the increases because I have no source of income. I focus on my classes because I'm pre-med. I don't think I'd be able to handle a job in classes. So I have to rely on financial aid. If it's like a small increase, then it's fine. But if you're talking about like 5%, no, that's way too much.
Students could also see a higher cost for dining, housing, and parking. And with costs continuing to climb, students say they want their concerns heard before any final decision is made for next semester. The Board of Visitors is expected to take open comment on April 24th, but students and community members can use this forum right here to submit their thoughts online ahead of time. At VCU's Monroe Park campus, for VCU InSight in the newsroom at VCU, I'm Dakota Griffin.
VCU is starting construction on what they're calling the West Grace Housing Project. It's a new dorm right next to campus. VCU's Ben Rikosh has more on this development at the Monroe Park campus.
Ziggy Heltzel, who goes by they/them pronouns, lives in Brant Residence Center in their second year at VCU. They generally like it, but that's not to say there aren't some issues.
Our door broke. Our shower got clogged and didn't get fixed. So but overall, probably the best dorm, so.
VCU students say there are issues with the number of people per room.
I remember my older brother went when he was in GRC and he was in like a 4-person dorm, and I remember the beds would be like this, and it was meant for 2 people. It was not tenable.
In other years, students lived in nearby hotels because entire buildings were filled. The student housing issue has been discussed for years, but was compounded with the closing of Johnson Hall in 2021 due to mold problems. There's finally a solution to these issues. A new 14-story dorm building has begun construction on the 700 block of Gray Street near the corner of Pine and Laurel. VCU News says that it is expected to house nearly 1,000 students. The demolition phase is underway. Various stages of construction are expected to continue from now until June. This project will impact both traffic and pedestrian safety on and around campus. If you park on campus here at VCU, you may have a little more trouble finding a spot over the next couple months. As you can see right behind me, they're getting ready to start this project here on Gray Street. This will be one of the blocks that's closed for the project. You can see the old bookbinder building as well. That's part of this whole situation. The dorm will have a ground floor with a lobby area for operations, offices, and other amenities. Additional spaces on the ground floor include a 5,000 square foot dining venue, 2 1,500 square foot retail spaces, and a 6,000 square foot mail center. Freshman Jake Burnett lives in Gladding Residence Center and is happy with his roommate situation.
I know we have a lot of dorm buildings. I don't know if it's necessary, like entirely necessary, but of course, you know, expansion, and there's new students coming all the time, so.
One of the main concerns, how this will impact students' tuition costs. VCU says the dorm will be paid through a combination of auxiliary funds and debt, which will be paid for with student housing payments. VCU's recent press release on the Gray Street dorm doesn't give a timeline as to when the building will be complete. Reporting on the Monroe Park campus for VCU InSight and the newsroom at VCU, I'm Ben Rikosh.
Students at VCU have a fresh way to grab a snack when in need, and the best part, it's free. Ayana McNair has more on the program called Ram Fridges.
For students rushing between classes, finding the time and money for healthy food can be a challenge. But across campus, a growing network of Ram Fridges is helping make fresh food more accessible. This one is located in the Cary Street Gym. Senior Caleb Lynch shares his opinion on the project.
I feel like it was a good way for students to kind of just get groceries without breaking money.
The fridges are free for students and stocked with items like fruits, vegetables, and quick snacks. According to an article on VCU News, Professor John Jones started Ram Fridges in response to student requests for more fresh foods, including fruits and vegetables. VCU junior Peter Rainey has never taken any items, but could see himself using it.
If I guess I came on harder times than right now, lost the job at the gym and income ran a little short. Like right now I can go to the store and manage a few cheap groceries for myself, but you know, if the well ran dry, it's good to have this as like a fallback.
According to VCU News, the food comes from unsold individually packaged leftovers at Schaefer Dining Court, as well as donations that follow the guidelines posted on the fridges. Some students we talked to were concerned about cleanliness.
I hope that the stuff they put in there is fresh, unless, you know, they start, somebody takes some and they got bubble guts or something.
But staff say the fridges are safe. 3 times a week, 4 employees clean the fridges, check the temperatures, document the process, and discard any food that's no longer good.
You can find the other 2 fridges located at Cabell Library and the Trani Life Sciences building. Reporting in Richmond for VCU InSight and the newsroom at VCU, I'm Ayana McNair.
Virginia Democrats are proposing new voting districts for the Commonwealth that could give them the upper hand in the midterms. Both sides want voters to get to the polls for this special election. I have more on what you need to know before going to the polls on April 21st. This is a special election that has the potential to temporarily change the Virginia Constitution until the 2030 census. This proposed map will use parts of Metro Richmond and Northern Virginia to make the midterms more in Democrats' favor. It says parts of Goochland and Powhatan will join Arlington, which is majority Democrat, and Hanover will remain split in half, with its first district joining Democratic Prince William County. This is my polling place in Fairfax County, Virginia, where soon voters will cast their ballots for or against redistricting. If this map is approved, it could give Virginia Democrats 10 out of the 11 House districts in this midterm election. In normal circumstances, redistricting would only happen after the census is conducted, but states all over the country are deciding to redistrict mid-decade. Virginia, Maryland, South Carolina, and Washington are introducing legislation for proposing or authorizing new maps. States like North Carolina, Ohio, Texas, and California have already changed their congressional districts. To make sure your voice is heard, remember to vote this April 21st. To find your local polling place, you can go to the Virginia Department of Elections website at www.elections.virginia.gov. Gas prices across the Commonwealth are continuing to hover around the $4 mark. According to Gas Buddy, near VCU gas is around $3.98. The lowest gas price recently is $2.98. The state average is $3.94. This rise in gas prices is driven by the war in Iran. Following a high number of pedestrian deaths across the city, Richmond is working right now to improve pedestrian safety. VCU InSight reporter Almany Harrison has more on the projects that are being installed starting this month and expected to be finished by the fall.
I'm here at 10th and Marshall Street, where an audible crosswalk has just been installed. You can hear it telling people to cross.
The city is rolling out a series of upgrades aimed at protecting people walking near busy intersections and school zones. The urgent action for safety comes after the tragic loss of 6 pedestrians who were killed while crossing Richmond streets in a 3-week span. The Richmond Department of Transportation has since launched new safety projects across the city. At 10th and Marshall Streets, audible beacon devices have been installed to help people, especially those with visual impairments, know when it's safe to cross. The city is also building a new traffic signal at Broad Rock Boulevard and Orcutt Lane near Broad Rock Elementary School. The project will add ADA-compliant ramps, high-visibility crosswalks, and count on pedestrian signal is as part of Richmond's Vision Zero plan to reduce traffic deaths.
Construction at the Broad Rock intersection is expected to begin in early April and wrap up by late fall, while the city evaluates the audible beacon pilot for possible expansion. Reporting for Richmond and VCU InSight in the newsroom, I'm Almany Harrison.
Veteran local journalists are reacting following the shutdown of the Richmond Free Press, one of the oldest African American newspapers in the city. For many, it was more than a newspaper, it was a voice. Reporter Violet Velasquez has more on the story.
For more than 30 years, the Richmond Free Press told stories many mainstream outlets overlooked, highlighting Black leadership, culture, and community in Richmond. Its closing marks the end of an era. Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist Michael Paul Williams says the closing of the newspaper is painful.
Well, all that the long-winded way of me saying we need the Richmond Free Press and the Black press more than ever. So we can't afford, we need all hands on deck. And it's a horrible time for a publication like the Free Press to go down.
Publications like the Richmond Free Press weren't just covering the community, they were a part of it. Retired television anchor Diane Walker was a longtime reader of the newspaper.
Would go to church on Sunday, and many churches would have the Richmond Free Press on a table as you entered. That was the topic.
Walker adds it was an honor for anyone to be featured in the paper, just like she was.
Cherished Christmas memory. I'll just show you the front of it.
Wow.
So I did write it. I said I'm going to make a post tomorrow.
Walker says the question becomes, who will continue telling those stories?
I think it should be incumbent upon other media outlets to start a conversation with Richmond Free Press and see what the next step is. Maybe it has already happened with the Boone family. I don't know.
The closing of the Richmond Free Press wasn't due to a lack of impact, but a changing media landscape, and according to multiple news reports, a lack of advertising dollars.
And while the presses may stop running, many say the impact of the Richmond Free Press won't be erased. Its pages documented history. Its legacy lives on in the journalists and community it helped shape.
Wow.
Reporting in Richmond for VCU InSight and the newsroom at VCU, I'm Violet Velasquez.
You may not think twice about where your trash ends up, but here in Richmond, one piece of litter can have a much bigger impact downstream. The Big Clean Bay Day is May 2nd. VCU InSight reporter Dakota Griffin has a preview on what you can expect and is talking with local groups who are working to stop that trash before it harms the ecosystem.
I'm here at Anchorage Landing, where the Chesapeake Bay Foundation is hard at work picking up buckets full of litter. And they say that this trash can end up into the James River and cause a real big problem. So I've got my grabber ready and I'm jumping in to help. Clean the Bay Day is Virginia's largest one-day volunteer cleanup each year. This event brings people together across the Commonwealth to pick up litter. All of this to help protect the Chesapeake Bay and the waterways that flow into it. Just last year, nearly 3,500 volunteers and over 70 partners removed more than 70,000 pounds of trash. They found common items like fishing line, plastic bottles, and aluminum cans.
River's right down there, so if we have a big storm or runoff or anything, this is going to end up right in our waterways and affect wildlife and our human health.
And the Richmond Tool Bank also joined, providing tools and support for the cleanup. They partnered with the environmental group to help keep these local waterways clean and free of pollution. Organizers say that everyone has a role to play in keeping this area clean. And here's a piece of trash that I've picked up just standing here. So you can do your part when you're in these public parks or places and putting trash into garbage cans. And if you're looking to do a more organized cleanup, you can reach out to the Richmond Tool Bank and they'll supply you with tools like this one. So reporting at Anchorage Landing for VCU InSight in the newsroom at VCU, I'm Dakota Griffin.
Registration for Clean the Bay Day is open until April 17th. You can sign up for this litter pickup on the Chesapeake Bay Foundation website. The biannual spring Atlantic sturgeon migration is here. These ancient fish are swimming through the heart of our city. At the same time, conservationists are hoping the General Assembly will pass a budget that will approve for millions of dollars to help keep our river system healthy. VCU InSight reporter Hacian Perez dives into the future of these fish this spring.
Yes, and here at the James River, these massive prehistoric fish have already been spotted. You see, these fish love to return to the exact same freshwater beds where they were born to reproduce and start the cycle anew.
Take a look. The James River Sturgeon Facebook group, which monitors the sturgeon population, says they recently caught one baby sturgeon in the Mattapony River. The sturgeon has been around since the Cretaceous period, often called a dinosaur fish due to it coexisting with the T-Rex as well as its armored plates. The World Wildlife Foundation declared that the sturgeon is the most endangered species group on Earth. The Atlantic sturgeon's endangered status is cited to be a result of overfishing and habitat pollution.
These armored dinosaur fish are gigantic, with the largest ever caught being 15 feet long and having a lifespan of over half a century.
Right now, conservationists are hoping that the General Assembly will approve in the state budget $50 million to upgrade the Richmond Combined Sewer System. The current facility collects sewage in a large basin, but when it rains, that basin overflows directly into the James. And according to the City of Richmond's 2024 Sewer Plan Final Report, that spill hits the fall line, the exact spot where sturgeon lay their eggs. The nutrients in that sewage trigger bacteria blooms that strip oxygen from the water, literally suffocating the eggs before they can hatch.
Though the General Assembly has not yet approved of a state budget, the House and the Senate have recently passed some bills dedicated towards investments in river health. They are set to meet again later this April. Reporting from Richmond, Virginia for VCU InSight and the newsroom at VCU, I'm Hacian Perez.
Rainy weather didn't stop hundreds of people from coming out to the 53rd annual Easter on Parade on Monument Avenue. VCU InSight reporter Naomi Smalls has more on the rainy day festivities.
It wasn't raining cats, but plenty of dogs came dressed in their bunny costumes and bonnets for the annual Easter on Parade on Monument Avenue. Longtime parade attendee Robin Weil brought her 3 dogs to the parade where they received a lot of attention.
This is Gus Gus, Desi, and Sheldon.
Weil and her pups were not going to take a rain check on this fun Easter event.
Unfortunately, the weather's not real cooperative today, but we really like to come and just see everybody, and the pups always get a lot of attention and they have a good time. Actually, Desi's an old hat. But Sheldon's is 10 months old today. It's his first time, and Sheldon we just recently got. He's 4.5, and it's his first time too.
There's so much more than just the parade to enjoy here on Monument Avenue today, so it's smart not to put all of your eggs in one basket. They have live music, plenty of food trucks, and a lot of activities for families and their pets to enjoy. This year, returning with their infamous baked goods, James River Greyhounds and Great Love Retirement were sponsors for the parade. Founder and President Mark Lane says this event has been the best for teaching people about greyhounds and what their lives can become once they're retired racers.
It's just an amazing venture to come to be a representative of the retired racing greyhounds, to showcase what they can be as pets, but also just to give the education about retired racing greyhounds.
Lane and his family have been attending the Easter On Parade for over a decade. Now that they are expected to attend due to their infamous baked goods, this tradition holds so much more meaning.
Monument Avenue is, when it's not raining on a day like today, the street would be filled, and you would just see so many different walks of life, so many different bonnets, pet bonnets, human bonnets, everything like that. It's just an amazing Richmond tradition to be part of, and we're glad to be part of it continually as well.
Reporting in Richmond for VCU InSight and the newsroom at VCU, I'm Naomi Smalls.
Another group of monks are making a stop in the River City. The Buddhist monks from the mystical arts of Tibet have held various ceremonies this week at the Unitarian Universalist Church. VCU InSight reporter Hassan Perez has more on why they're here.
These Tibetan monks have spent all week constructing this intricate mandala, a piece of sand art said to represent the universe. The construction of the mandala is said to bring enlightenment. Currently on a world tour, these monks from Tibet have been raising funds for their monastery. According to their Instagram page, their goal is to promote world peace and healing through performance and visual arts, including the sacred chanting prayer known as a dissolution puja to bless the process. According to the monks, this particular mandala is a mandala of compassion, or white Tara, associated with the drama Karma, a figure worshipped as the mother of all Buddhas.
We invoke the deity, invite the deity. Please come to this land, stay here, and bless this area, purify this area, healing this area.
Today, they had their closing ceremony, adding the finishing touches on the white Tara. Therapist Maria Hart was first inspired by the earlier group of monks during the February's Walk for Peace. After seeking out this week's visit from the mystical arts of Tibet, she says she believes their core philosophy of letting go is a vital key to mental health.
We go through rocky times, everybody does in our lives, and if we hold on too tightly to those things, it carries some of the negativity from yesterday into your present.
At the end of the ceremony, the mandala was destroyed in an act of anicca, or the concept of impermanence. Grains of sand were also handed out to attendees, hoping to inspire longevity in the future. Reporting from Richmond, Virginia for VCU InSight and the newsroom at VCU, I'm Hassan Perez.
Turning now to your weather forecast, here's a look at what you can expect for the next 2 days. Weather has been up and down these last couple of days, but don't worry, we're heading towards sunnier skies and warmer weeks. Friday will start in the lower 60s and then heat up to a high of 80 degrees. For Saturday, there will be a low of 60 and a high of 83. It's going to be a verified nice weather weekend, so make sure to get outside while it's still warm. Thank you for tuning in to VCU InSight. Sadly, this is our last show for the spring semester, but don't you worry, an all-new news team is coming in the fall. For VCU InSight and the newsroom at VCU, I'm Sophia Shokrai.